What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Hopefully before long things will start getting close to being back to normal. Well, if y'all don't know me, I'm obsessed with just about anything mechanical. Anywhere from mopeds to motorcycles to go-karts to four-wheelers to dirt bikes to cars to trucks to whatever. If it has an engine on it and we can make it run, I want to mess with it. So this is something that we picked up from a local estate auction. From what I was told, it had been sitting for about 30 years, tucked away in a little garage. Obviously, we are missing the back wheel and a couple drive components, so we won't be able to ride this thing. Hopefully soon we'll be able to track that stuff down and be able to get this thing on the road. But for now, let's see if we can get that little motor running. Now, please feel free to correct me if I butcher the name. This is a Piaggio Ciao manufactured by Piaggio and CSPA, Genoa, Italy, 1974. Pretty cool little machine. Can't wait to get all the dust off of this thing. I think it'll actually clean up pretty well. Hopefully we can track down those few missing parts. Old taillight needs, turn signal needs some love. Missing the drive components and everything here. Real quick, before we get started, something y'all know that we've lacked a lot on this channel is lighting. And I had a super cool, fairly local company reach out to me, sent some lights for me to test out and see how they do, and honestly, I've really been enjoying them. And it's Olight, and they sent me this i5T. Pretty cool little handheld light. Super good pocket light for using around working, for going out hunting. Maybe if you're a police officer, it's a great little handy light to have around. You've got a couple different lighting options. You've got a dim light and then a nice bright light. And I've been using it here for a little while and it's been working really great. Clip it in my pocket right there. If I'm getting down in a boat, I can take it and clip it in my hat. Boop. That thing's perfect for getting down, especially up underneath the hood of a car. It's got 300 lumens and a 60-meter range. They also sent me this bad boy. This is the Warrior Pro X in gunmetal gray. It's got 2,250 lumens and a 600-meter range. This thing is absolutely incredible. I mean, that's a hefty flashlight. It works really well. It's so bad butt out here at night. I'll show you a video here in just a minute. Has a magnetic charger that hooks on. This cool pouch also has another grip that goes onto this thing for tactical use, and they also have a lot of other really great products on their site. There's the i5T. As you can see, realistically does super well, especially for working. This is awesome for under the hood of your car, or I use it every day at work, and I have been for a while now. Let's go ahead and whip out the Warrior X Pro really quick with its 2250 lumens and 600-meter throw and show you just how incredible this light is. We are dark now, and boom. Do you guys see that? I don't know if you can tell. I mean, look, there's the rabbit. Look at that thing. I mean, it's glowing. It is literally glowing. Sorry, I'm trying to... Look, we're checking out the tops of those trees. Wait, no. Let's check out the tops of the trees on the other side of the neighborhood over there. Look at that. Look, I mean, this is like... It's like a quarter-mile away. That is ridiculous. This thing is absolutely incredible. I've never had a flashlight like this. I think my pool is the kids' pool is glowing. Look at that. I just wanted to go out here at night, y'all, because I don't think video does this camera justice. I mean, this thing is flashlight. I don't think video does this flashlight justice. This thing is incredible. Look at the pollen and stuff floating in the air right now. You can see it's. Look at this thing. Y'all saw me showing these things off. With this channel, I really don't want to promote anything that I personally am not going to use myself. I really enjoy these. I mean, they do really awesome. Like I said before, I've always lacked in the lighting department, and these things are absolutely wicked. If y'all want some of these yourselves, I'm going to throw a link down in the description to their website. If you're interested in having some of these cool lights, there's a big sale going on tomorrow, May 8th, midnight to midnight Eastern Standard Time. You'll have the options of getting the Warrior X Pro in gunmetal gray or desert camo for 30% off. Normally $140, you'll be able to get it for $97. Or if you bundle this and the i5T, you'll get 40% off. So instead of $170, you'll get it for right about $100. They have a few other big things going on. I'm going to list all that in the description for you guys to check out and be able to go through and hopefully choose some of this stuff for yourself. Because like I said, really enjoying it. If there's any other flashlights that you guys are interested in now or in the future, you can use coupon code BudgetBuilds and get an extra 10% off. Alright, first thing we're going to do, let's go and pop the spark plug out, kind of get an idea of what the livelihood of this engine is. Kind of pulled the whole Bootsy McBob out of there. Looks like I'm going to bring a few different sockets out instead of trying to guess because I can never quite figure out the right size. It's an 18mm or a 5/8 or a 3/4 or a 13/16 spark plug socket. So let me grab those and let's see what we find. Alright, let's see what flavor we have. I'm going to guess at 18. Nope. 13/16. Second try. Comes out nice and easy. It's an NGK B5HS plug. Pretty grody. That's what you get out of an old two-smoke though. No rust or anything, that's always a good sign. Take our flashlight, take a peek up in there, see what we see. I don't know if you're able to see up in there, but it looks alright, not too terrible. Let's go ahead and throw some fogging oil up in there to let it soak down. Maybe some Marvel Mystery oil. And then I'm going to take a ratchet. Let's throw a socket on that nut there and see how well this thing turns over. And then maybe we'll try to check our compression. Let's throw this thing on the ratchet. Make sure it feels nice and free first. Nothing snagging up. No rings or anything catching in glands. Obviously this thing is an old two-smoke. Alright, now we'll throw our drill impact on there in reverse. Give her a little ring-a-ding and see what she'll do. I'm going to throw it in one to begin with. Alright, so ended up having to switch to our drill and realized that this thing has to turn clockwise, not counterclockwise. Let's go ahead and check the compression and see where it is at. Nice. That is about a little under 90 psi. This gauge leaks down a little bit, but it came up to about 90, so that should be plenty. Let's go ahead real quick, throw our spark plug back in it, and see if we have any fire. Alright, we've got our plug stuck back in there. Let's go ahead and see about tackling this carburetor, getting it cleaned up. First thing let's do is get it off. We've got this little cover thing here. Obviously there's a bunch of pieces missing on this thing. It really is in actually quite good shape, and I'd love to be able to get it going and back down the road, but we're going to be keeping an eye out for all these pieces. If you guys know where we can find this stuff or have any ideas or have any, be sure to hit us up and let us know. But let's go ahead and pop this bit off right here. You got two 10mm bolts, and we'll pull that piece off. Before we get any farther, let's go ahead and grab our air hose and blow everything off just so we don't get any junk down on the intake. And then we're going to take our two flathead screws right here on top to pull this throttle cable. And yes, this one's a little sticky, but honestly not too terrible, and most likely it's just gunked up right here on the little sleeve, the little slider, your plunger. So hopefully once we pull that out and clean it, our throttle will move nice and well. But let's go ahead and blow this off and get that off. Yep, that's really stuck down in there. Alright, so we are going to have to do a little bit of work to get that throttle plate free. Let's go ahead and see if we can get this carburetor off. You've got this little bitty 8mm right here on a clamp. Right here you've got this flathead 8mm to take your fuel line loose. And hopefully we can wiggle and jiggle this thing out of here. Now, first thing we need to do, pop our choke up right down in there. I don't know if you can see. There's a little flathead screw. And that pulls our breather off. Got a cute little screen in there. A little bit of junk. Not too bad though. Now let's try to pop our carburetor out. Alright, with little to no persuasion, just gave it a little push. That's all it took, and it popped that throttle plate out. Really cool choke design here. Clip it down, kind of push it over, boop, pops up. But let's go ahead and try to clean the outside of this thing up a little bit, then pop the bowl off and see what we're working with in there. She's fairly decently clean, other than a little funky crud on the bottom after sitting in the vat for a little bit. Let's go ahead and take our two bottom screws off and check that bowl out and see everything in there looks. Honestly, not too terrible in there. Surprisingly, the needle valve still works. I'm going to give her a little spray off and blast through the fuel neck. Go ahead and clean our jet out, because you can see it's gunked up. Pull it out, and then we'll blow through our emulsion tube and make sure we've got good flow through it. Blow it off, stick it all back together, throw it on the bike, and let's see if this thing will run. Let's drop that thing in the vat and let it soak a little bit. Nice and straight. So what I like to do here is you take your needle valve seat, you take a crazy cats. This thing, Q-tip with some fine metal polish. You want to stick that down in there. Just work it real good. One thing I like to do with our little jets here is we can take a piece of wire off of a wire brush, or we can grab a piece of wire, strip it out, and get a strand to run that through, clean it out, and then when we're done with that, we can take and throw this in the vat for a little bit longer. Now, one thing that I really like about carburetors that have sat for 20, 30 plus years is you'll notice the fuel was a little bit better quality at the time. You didn't have as much ethanol that carried the water through, so when it evaporated, it just created a little bit of varnish and instead of creating that sand crystallite that we get now in our newer carburetors that have been sitting. And that stuff just makes an absolute mess. This varnish really does just clean up nice. And if you notice on our 66, honestly, I have not rebuilt the carburetor on that thing, and it had been sitting since 87 I think it was, and it realistically runs pretty good. Well, let's go ahead and soak this, and then we'll blow it off, and we'll get this thing popped back together, throw it on that moped, and see if it'll run. Alright, once we have it back on here and together, we just want to be sure our throttle plate works as it should. And it does. So let's go ahead and stick it on. As you can see, I got a little fuel line run here so we can make a temporary fuel tank. Obviously that one will need to be cleaned, but let's go ahead and slide this thing on, get it tightened down, and get our fuel supply hooked up. Alright, so here we have our fuel hookup. Fancy little hub and duber going on here. And here we have some fuel. Obviously quite a bit over mixed. This is realistically mixed roughly 50-1, but I went a little overboard, hasn't been running a long time. Don't want to take any chances, so let's go ahead and get a little bit of gas in there. And spill it everywhere. Doesn't appear to be flooding out or anything. Let's go ahead and choke it and give it a whir and see what it does. Put the spark plug back in it first. Uh-oh. Hi, honey. Yeah. It wants to. Here she goes. Well, it runs Air 5 or Video 5, over the internet 5. High five me though, because we got this thing running after 30 plus years. I hope y'all are as excited as I am to hear that thing fire off. If you guys enjoy that kind of stuff, we're a channel dedicated to bringing forgotten stuff back to life. As you see, we've got our little MG back here, XL200, tons of other builds, including our Porsche 911 Targa. If you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys have any parts for this little scooter so we can get it going a little bit further, be able to take it down the road and go for a ride. Hope everyone is staying safe out there, being careful. We're going to get over this before long. Peace out. Catch y'all on the flip side.